Most businesses automate the wrong thing first. They build a very impressive demo, the clever chatbot, the AI agent that does 7 different things, and meanwhile, the workflow that's actually leaking money in their business stays exactly as broken as it was a year ago. So in this video, I want to fix the order you do this in. I'm going to give you the 5 workflows almost every service business should look at before building anything fancy. And more importantly, I'll give you a simple way to score your own workflows so the first thing you automate is the one that actually pays for itself. I'm not here to review AI tools. I work on the operations side, taking messy business processes and turning them into AI-assisted systems that actually run. And the single most common question I get is some version of, we know we should be using AI, but where do we even start? So the reason that question is so hard is that everything looks automatable. So people pick based on what's exciting and not what's valuable. And that's the trap. The goal today is to replace what's exciting with what's leverage, and the good kind. So think of it like a medic doing a triage. When someone comes in with a deep cut and a scratched knee, you don't reach for the scratched knee just because it's closer. You stop the bleeding first. Picking what to automate is the same call. You find the one that's actually losing you something, and then you fix the leakiest pipe first. And here's the thing worth holding on to for the whole video. AI doesn't fix a messy process. It just makes it run faster. It's like throwing the accelerator on a car that's pointed at a ditch. Speed isn't the thing you're missing. So we're not looking at the flashiest workflow here. We're looking for the ones where work repeats and where mistakes cost real money. So let me show you how I find those. First, why does everyone get their order wrong? Because novelty feels like progress. Building an AI agent that books meetings and sounds human is genuinely fun. It demos beautifully, you can show it to your team and everyone's going to go, wow. But unfortunately, fun and profitable are not really the same thing. And in fact, they're often opposites, because the boring workflows are boring precisely because you do them constantly. That repetition is exactly what makes them worth automating. There's very good evidence for being delivered here instead of guessing. McKinsey, in their 2023 report on the economic potential of generative AI, estimated the technology could add somewhere between $2.5 and $4.5 trillion in value a year. But the important part for us isn't the headline number, is that they found roughly 3/4 of value concentrates in just a few areas: customer operations, sales and marketing, software engineering, and R&D. So in other words, the value isn't spread evenly across the business. It clusters, the way ore doesn't spread thinly through a whole mountain, but it sits in a few rich seams. So dig in the right seam and you're going to hit something, but if you dig anywhere else, you're just moving rock around. So if you're automating the wrong cluster, you're working very hard for very little return. So the job is to find high-value clusters on purpose. Here is the scoring method I use. Take any workflow and score it on 6 factors. I keep this deliberately simple. Score each one from 1 to 5. The first one is frequency. How often does this happen? Daily beats weekly and weekly beats monthly. 2 is time cost. How long does each instance take by the time you add up everyone who touches it? 3 is error rate. How often does it go wrong, get forgotten, or get done inconsistently? 4 is risk. What's the damage when it goes wrong? Is it an annoyed client or a lost deal? 5 is the revenue impact. Is this workflow close to money coming in or far from it? And 6 is ease. How structured and repeatable is it already? So structured, rule-based work is far easier to automate than fussy judgment work. So add all of this up, and the highest scores are almost never the flashy stuff. They are repetitive, money adjacent, error-prone work you have stopped noticing because it's always been there. So I put a ready-made version of the scoring sheet together so you can run your own workflows through it. More on that at the end. Now, let me give you 5 that score high for almost everyone. Think of these as your starting candidates. Number 1 is lead intake. This is how a new lead, whether it's from an email, a form, a DM, referrals, a call, gets captured, sorted, and responded to. In most businesses, this is gloriously inconsistent. Some leads get a reply in 10 minutes, some sit for 2 days, and some get lost entirely. So, why automate this first? Because it's high frequency, it's right at the top of the revenue, and the cost of getting it go wrong is brutal. Harvard Business Review audited over 2,000 companies and found the average response time to an inbound web lead was 42 hours, and that responding within an hour made you roughly 7 times more likely to actually qualify that lead. 42 hours versus 1 hour, that's huge. The gap is pure revenue leakage, and it's an operations problem, not a sales talent problem. To be clear about what AI should and shouldn't do here, it shouldn't replace your sales judgment. It should remove the lag, capture the lead instantly, enrich it, flag the high value ones, and draft a fast first response a human can approve. And that's it. That alone often pays for the whole project. Number 2 is meeting follow-ups. Every meeting produces decisions and next steps. And then everyone goes back to their inbox and half of it evaporates. And the task that was obviously someone's job never gets an owner. The follow-up email goes 3 days late or sometimes not at all. This one scores high because it's frequent, it's error-prone in a quiet way, and the structure is actually pretty clean. Transcript goes in, and out comes a list of decisions, tasks, owners, and a follow-up draft. You are turning a conversation into an operational memory instead of letting it leak. Number 3 is proposal and quote prep. For a lot of service businesses, this is a very sneaky time sink. Someone digs up the last similar proposal, copies it, swaps the client's name, adjusts the scope, fixes the pricing, and just hopes they didn't miss a placeholder. It's slow, it's inconsistent, and it sits directly between a hot lead and a signed deal. So every day of delay has a cost. AI is genuinely good at the assembly part, pulling the right template, drafting scope language from your notes, and producing a consistent first version a human reviews and prices. You keep the judgment and you delete the busy work. High frequency for sales-led businesses, high revenue impact, and very structured. This one usually scores very well. Number 4 is client onboarding. The deal is signed. So now what? In most businesses, onboarding is a flurry of manual steps. Set up the folders, create the project, send a welcome email, gather the access, brief the team, and then book the kickoff. The same information gets copied across 5 different tools by hand and involves several people sometimes. That copying is more expensive than it actually looks. McKinsey put a number on this years ago. Back in their 2012 work on the social economy, knowledge workers lose around a fifth of their week. That's close to 2 hours a day just searching for and gathering information that should already be within reach. Onboarding is that problem in a concentrated form. Automate the setup and the handoffs, and you turn a chaotic, first impression defining process into something that runs the same way every single time. Number 5 is reporting. This is the one leaders quietly hate. Every week, someone stitches together numbers from a CRM, a project tool, a finance sheet, and a few Slack threads and turns it into an update that's already slightly out of date by the time it's read. Reporting scores high because it's frequent, it's pure repetitive assembly, and it directly affects decisions. The bar here is higher than summarize the numbers. Done well, an AI-assisted report should pull the inputs, flag the changes, surface what's anomalous, and point leadership at a few things that actually need a decision. It moves you from backward-looking admin to forward-looking attention. Now notice something about those 5. Lead intake, follow-ups, proposals, onboarding, and reporting. That's not a random pile of automations. That's the spine of a service business. Sales, delivery, and visibility. When you automate them one at a time with no plan, you get 5 disconnected scripts. When you sequence them deliberately, you start building an operating layer where the lead that comes in flows into a proposal, into onboarding, into delivery, and into the report. That's the difference between we use some AI and our operations actually run on a system. That's the direction all of this is pointing. Now let me make the ROI angle blunt, because it's the whole point of scoring. A workflow like lead response is close to money. Automating it protects revenue you're currently leaking. And a workflow like an internal meme generator is far from money. It produces LinkedIn posts, not deals. Same effort to build, widely different returns. So the scoring sheet exists to stop you from confusing the two. Here's a few mistakes to avoid. Number 1, don't automate a broken process. Fix the steps first, because AI will just run the mess faster. 2 is don't skip the human approval step on anything that touches a customer or money. The goal early on is reliability, not full autonomy. 3, don't pick by excitement. If you only remember one thing from this video, let it be that. Boring, repetitive, and money adjacent beats clever and novel almost every single time. So here's how to actually use this. If you want the scoring sheet I just walked through, the one that ranks your workflow by frequency, time cost, error rate, risk, revenue impact, and ease, I put it inside our free school community. It's there so you can score your own workflows and find your real number 1 before you spend a single hour building the wrong automation. No cost, grab it, run your top few, and you'll already be ahead of most people. And if, once you have scored them, you would rather have this installed for you, connected into one system instead of 5 disconnected scripts, that's what Broker Studio is built to do. We install AI operating systems into businesses in phases, and these workflows are a natural first phase, because they are where the leakage is easiest to measure. But there's no pressure here at all. The scoring sheet and the free resources will genuinely get you a long way on your own. Start where work repeats and where mistakes cost money. Do that, and your first AI project won't be a clever demo nobody uses. It'll be the one that quietly pays for everything that comes after.